excited to have Breece Hall join us, the running back for the New York Jets. He's from Wichita, grew up here at Northwest High School, and now he's playing in the Bigs. We're excited for that. But first, how are you guys today?
Well, Biggs would probably be more MLB. The pros.
It's the big leagues. He's still in the big leagues.
I can't hear Sheldon.
Sheldon's not even talking.
Yeah, I can hear. Okay.
Nope.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear Sean.
Nope. Sheldon can't even hear him. No.
Have you muted yourself?
Try again.
Hello.
There you go.
Oh, he probably just came
Hey.
undone.
Okay.
Hey, get all the kinks out of here early. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Sheldon, how are you this morning?
Doing good. It's not
Morning,
morning, but
morning.
Now we're in the afternoon.
Got myself on there. I even told myself I wouldn't do that.
yeah, I had to mix up the times a little bit today. This is
Yeah.
different,
Very.
being in the afternoon. But Naj is bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to rock.
He got to sleep in a little bit.
He said he was adulting this morning. What did that entail, actually?
Paying bills, man.
Ah,
Hey.
okay.
I see you.
Nice.
That's what I just
Respect.
You know, you
I just don't.
Lucky
Just
you.
wait and see what happens.
I'll just kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
They said do your taxes, Sean. I'm like, what's that?
Make me.
Yeah.
We all know who's behind the taxes.
I got a question though, Sheldon.
Yeah.
What are you drinking over there?
Oh, you know me. Sweet and salty.
What is that?
All the time, every time.
Oh, sweet and salty.
Oh.
Flavor
Ice
what?
today, though,
It's
because
a
it's
7 brew
95
afternoon. It
degrees.
looks like it's a 7 brew afternoon.
Oh, my 7 brew didn't make it out of the
Wait,
car.
is mine?
Whoa.
Oh, hey, we can hear you. We can't see you.
Bro, I don't know why it's acting. I don't know why it's acting like that. That's weird. Should I leave
Was
and
it-
rejoin? My camera's on. Yeah, it's on right now. I don't know.
Hold on one sec. Here, I'll take you out of this one and I'll send you another invite
Okay.
just to see that it works. Let's see here.
All right. Well, I did prepare this intro last night. So
Go ahead.
while he's getting back on, Breece Hall, 24 years old, born in Omaha, Nebraska, went to Wichita Northwest High School, back-to-back 2,000-yard seasons in junior and senior years, almost 60 touchdowns, two-time first-team All-Metro and All-State, and also Metro Player of the Year at Iowa State, part of a big-time change in their football program. From 2019 to 2021, two-time Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, two-time top 10 finish in the Heisman voting, two-time All-American, almost 5,000 total yards of offense, and 56 total touchdowns. And with the New York Jets, he was a second-round pick, 36 overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, over 3,300 rushing yards, 1,600 receiving yards, and 27 total touchdowns in 4 seasons.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty all right.
Dude, he was I remember watching him at Iowa State, absolute stud.
Yeah.
And he came after David Montgomery, who was also an absolute stud,
Yeah.
absolute horse. But yeah, I'm looking forward. We're obviously all looking forward. To having this conversation and
Oh, yeah.
getting to pick his brain on his journey
Yeah.
from this area to now in New York, man. He's playing for the
I know.
Jets.
Right, yeah.
I know. It's awesome.
So-
Well, like I mentioned earlier, while we were or before the podcast, he has some family members that played in the NFL, the Arena Football League. His third cousin is Roger Craig with the Niners. His stepfather Jeff Smith played for the Chiefs and Bucks in 4 years, and then his cousin Kenton Keith had a brief stint with the Jets. So it runs in his family.
You know,
His dad played for OU.
it's pretty impressive resume. As we're working on getting him back on here. Sheldon, you want to share how we got this connection?
yeah, so I don't remember what episode it was, but we had.
Guys,
Hey, man, welcome to the show.
what's good?
What up, man? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Had a long night out last night, but I made it today, so I'm good.
Hey, there you go.
Well-
enjoying the off season.
Yeah, I'm in Florida right now, so just enjoying the sun. Getting some good work, and I got to lock in. This is my last weekend of me having fun with the boys, and then it's all football from here on out. So I've been going like 5 days a week. Enjoy the weekend, but I'll probably start going like 6 days here, take a day off, and just start getting back to it.
It's awesome, dude.
Mm.
Well, we were just kind of kind of laying out kind of how we got you on the podcast. So I was going to talk about our mutual connection.
Yeah.
Keyshawn Howell, an athlete that I worked with and trained for a long time while he was here in Wichita. And good dude, obviously, from the city and doing some pretty big things. We know that when we had him on the podcast, he was talking about how I don't even know. He's a fashion designer. He kind of does some tailoring of the closets for people. I don't know if curating of the closets is what he said. Yeah. So
yeah, for sure.
So we're just gonna start with that. How's that kind of been having him kind of in the corner? Because I know he put some fits on you. You guys wear all kinds of cool stuff. I see your game day posts. He always is posting up different things. How's that kind of relationship kind of grown?
All right, so it's crazy because me and him have known, like, we've known of each other since like early middle school, 6th, 7th grade, and we were always mutually cool, had mutual friends and everything. Because a lot of the guys he went to middle school with, and a lot of guys he played basketball with, I would play against them, and I would play with them in middle school and high school. So we always knew of each other, and we always showed each other love and everything throughout high school. So and he always kept in contact with me during college. We were always cool and everything. So one day he was just like, and also he's known for being fly. Like, out of all the guys in the city, like, growing up, he was the one dude that people were always like, yeah, he dresses nice. He always was a guy with all the shoes, nice clothes. Like, he was just one of those fly dudes all the time. So really in college, he wanted me to do it. I was always a big shoe guy. I wasn't really into clothes too much, and he started helping me out with some stuff. And then he was like, bro, we might as well just you might as well bring me on and let me be like your full-time, like, personal shopper, closet curator, stylist. And so since then we kind of been locked in. And for me, I'm still not like all the way into it, but he definitely helps me out a lot. And it's more of like a collaborative process. Like, we both have our own different type of styles. He's a little bit more, like, I say, exotic than I am. I still like to keep it more simple, and
it's a nice way of saying
Show
flamboyant.
Show the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes I call him sassy. Just joking around with him.
Well, I told him because he was on and he told me he was going to send me like a little care package.
Yeah.
And so he was connecting you and I, and I was like, bro, how am I supposed to talk about you on the pod if you don't like send me anything to like show people, you know? And he was like, oh, dude, I forgot. So no, he sent me a little care package. He got me a little snapback here, a couple beanies.
See,
so I got him in.
I don't even have the hat. I don't even have the little Puma hat or cheetah hat yet. So me and him got beef right now. It's like,
hey, find it. The one thing I got on Brees for about a week right here.
You want us to write like Kansas Sports HQ on it and just send it to you?
Right.
Yeah,
right. Come on.
Next day air. There we go. Well, that's awesome, man. Well, we're excited to ask you some questions just to kind of lay the grounds of kind of what we do on the podcast. Is, we're here locally in Wichita, and obviously you're, big time athlete that's come out of Wichita. So we're pumped to just get to know you a little bit and chat with you. Really, what we like to do is just ask questions. We're big about our community, and we're big about talking about the things that Wichita has going on, and just trying to, highlight the athletes that are around us and the things that are happening and things like that. So we're just going to kind of ask, a little bit about your history, kind of the, how you grew up, where and what you did, your experiences in the game of football, that type of thing. And then just kind of have some fun questions and just kind of go from there. So, but to kind of start out, if you'd like to start, when did your football journey begin? What were some of the things that you did here? Are you actually from Wichita? Did you move here at a young age? Like, tell us kind of the origin story of where you got started.
Yeah. So, it's crazy because people always think I'm from Wichita, and I'm not. So I moved around a lot in my early life growing up and everything. So I was born in Detroit, Michigan, and we lived there for a while. And I moved to Omaha, Nebraska, and I lived in Omaha. That's where I said I was more so like bred, like, that's where all my mom's side of my family is, and that's like who I really grew up around growing up. And I moved to Wichita about like fifth grade, and I was in Wichita from 5th grade to, obviously throughout high school and college and everything. So definitely moved around a lot of changes. But once we got to Wichita, we kind of felt like it was home. So I definitely still acknowledge Wichita as home because that's where all my friends are, mentors, a lot of great relationships and everything. So my football journey started from a really young age. I come from a family full of athletes. I've had, family members playing the NBA, NFL. Like it's kind of one of those things in my family. If you're not really a really good athlete or like really good like in school, it's kind of like you kind of stick out like a sore thumb. So,
Mm.
I knew those two avenues were going to be one of my callings growing up. And then once I moved to Wichita, I was always pretty good at sports. I was a basketball player before I was a football player. So most people in the city knew me for being really good at basketball. And honestly, football kind of came at random. I was always good, but my first love was always basketball. So in high school, I remember the first day of school, my head coach Steve Martin, he was telling us like, you guys are going to be football players. You guys aren't going to be basketball players. And I'm looking at him like, yeah, whatever. Da, 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 da. And fast forward, I was a 4-year starter on the varsity team basketball, but I didn't play varsity football until my junior year. So I was playing freshman in JV, and I remember as a sophomore, all my friends and everything, they're like, bro, you're dead ass, like you're going to the NFL. And I'm like, dog, y'all realize, and these are my friends that are playing varsity. I'm still playing JV, waiting behind the seniors and stuff. So like, I'm suiting up every Friday, not getting any playing time, like sitting there bored. Me and my other running mate that played running back with me, Roy Johnson, like we're like, dog, like we should be out there doing something. And um, Coach Martin would always say like, I'd rather wait later than put y'all out there too early. So he basically kind of just built up that hunger. Definitely humbled us and um, just made us really eager to like show who we were, how hard we worked, and how good we were at the game. So once junior year came, I remember just having a really big junior year, and I had 2,000-yard season. Player of the year, 6A, and everything, like all those accolades and everything. And I
We
remember
actually,
that's when Coach.
Sean, real quick, not to interrupt you, Brees.
No,
You
you're
got
good.
his
You're
high
good.
school stats over there? You
I,
have those on there?
I did jot down as I was prepping for this last night. I did jot down a few of your stats. I more a little more general, and also I do want to apologize when I was writing all this stuff down. I put down you were born in Omaha. My bad.
Well, that's what Wiki says.
Well,
so
yeah,
you need to contact the people at Wiki. Probably
ever trust them,
already
man.
need to update your your Madden speed rating.
Yeah,
too.
they like to think they know everything, but until you really sit down and have the real conversation, nobody really knows the true origins of where I come from.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, that's
always
cool.
cool to hear everybody's like hear their like synopsis and their guess of like what they think or where they think I'm from and everything, because it's crazy because like everybody thinks I'm from Wichita and I'm like, nah, like I kind of just grew up here. I'm not from here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had just jotted down after I read through a few things, but back to back 2,000-yard seasons as a junior and senior, almost 60 touchdowns, 2-time first team All Metro and All State, and Metro Player of the Year. And as you said, you also got 6A Player of the Year as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah,
That's pretty solid.
And so, like,
Yeah.
I always feel like when we're looking at athletes from around here, you don't always see that jump from basically not playing sophomore year going to junior year and break out like that. Did you kind of have a big jump between those years physically, or was it just he waited at the right time to put you out on the field?
Yeah, so really between my sophomore and junior year, I probably gained like 15, 20 pounds, and I got really yoked up. So it was after my sophomore season, Coach Martin was like kind of pulled me in there and was like, dog, like it's pretty much gonna be your team now. We got some seniors, but we're gonna lean on you. So, Brees, you got the potential to be one of the best players that ever come out of here since Barry Sanders. And once he told me that, that was kind of like my big like aha moment, like, okay, I really can do this thing, because he was never a person to kind of not sell you a dream or lie to you. Coach Martin's very much blunt and to the point. So once he told me that, I really got in the weight room, and he would make sure he wouldn't let me lift with all of like my closest friends. He was putting me with the linebackers and D line, making sure I was getting it in every day, making sure those guys were holding me accountable, and I appreciate him for that, because it definitely gave me a different level of work ethic and making me lock in. So then, yeah, when that junior year came, it kind of just I broke out, and nobody knew how good I really was at football, so it's kind of like what's surprising everybody. And then I know where it's like, okay, he's the best player in the state now, like, and off of 1 year, and I went from not playing at all, just bench warmer to that. So then it shot up my recruitment, because we had Obviously, we went to school with Marcus Hicks. He was a big 4 or 5 star. Had
He
Ohio
went to
State,
Oklahoma,
Alabama
didn't he?
offers. Yeah, he went to Oklahoma. He
Yeah.
had all the offers from every big school as a freshman. So the coaches would come in and they would be watching his film, and Coach Martin would sneak my film in there, and they'd be like yeah, who is that? Like what?
Uh-huh.
Then they'd be like, okay, how big is he? Okay, how fast is he? And that's what started getting me my offers. So I went from no offers to boom, Iowa State's my first offer, and after that, I'm getting 12 offers in 3 days, and then I could become a no star to a 4 star, like all the crazy things happened. And so it was crazy for me and my parents to see, how fast like that stuff came into fruition, because I was like, at one point I was just playing sports just because all my friends played it, and it was a way of us just to be hanging out all the time.
For sure. Well, and that part of it, I mean, Coach Martin is awesome. He's been over there at Northwest for a long time and runs an amazing program just
Yeah.
across the board. Does a lot of development stuff. I've gone over and ran some speed stuff for him. It's been a while since then, but back when we were first starting, he kind of gave me a chance to go in there and just kind of talk to athletes and kind of put our name out there a little bit and do some good
Yeah.
work. And I've always appreciated him for that. And that's just a stepping stone of him trying to help build up the community, and just
Right.
help people that are trying to work hard. And I think that's always kind of been his thing, is he's constantly, or at least it seems like from the outside, like I don't talk to him every day or anything, but from the outside, it always seems like he's trying to put stuff out for more guys to just have opportunity to keep working, right? Like keep
Mhm.
going, keep working, keep doing it.
Yeah.
And, and we need more coaches like that in our area. I think we need more coaches like that just across all areas. But,
Yeah.
so what were you doing? So, you're in high school, you're starting to get recruited, things are really starting to pop off for you. Before that happened, like, were you just really plugged into the Northwest system? Were you training outside of the Northwest system? Were you doing stuff on your own? Was it like, walk us through some of that? Cause again, our podcast goes out to a lot of athletes, right? Like, so
Yeah.
or at least that's what we try. We try to share it with athletes so they can see things. And, we run a performance enhancement school here, right? Parisi, that's what we do.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
so for us, we're always talking to kids like, listen, if you're just doing your high school weights program, you're just doing your sports practice, you're
Yeah.
not gonna be able to get much past your general results, right? Like
Right.
you've got to push yourself outside of that.
Yeah.
So what were some of the things that you were doing outside of what you were just doing on that normal day-to-day track?
Bro, honestly, that was my biggest thing with like Coach Martin, was just building my work ethic, because I was so naturally talented. I was naturally pretty much better than everybody. So that as a younger guy, like that made me feel like I didn't need to work as hard. So that was like his biggest thing, is just, you know, um, challenging me. Okay, Brees, I don't want you to just be first. Like I want you getting extra reps. I want you, putting in more work than everybody. Little stuff like that. I want you, to see somebody on a squat max day do this and be like, no, I'm gonna hit more than them, just to push myself a little more. So for me, it was never like necessarily I had a trainer or anything. And I trained with a few guys. McKendrick Harper, he went to KU. He was around the
Oh yeah.
Wichita area that time. I trained with him a little bit, and he also was our DB's coach at Northwest for a little while too. So he would, on Saturdays, he would make me get up early and get some work in. But honestly, bro, it was more about just, getting I would go in my backyard. My mom would buy me a agility ladder and, a parachute, or, a sandbags to run in, and just honestly getting in as much work by myself as I could. Cause, I didn't really know about the whole spaces as a trainer and doing all that
Yeah.
stuff. So, or we would get a group of guys like, or that were just on the team, and we pull up to Northwest. Coach Martin to open the field, and we'd mess around, me playing 7-on-7, running around, doing drills, little stuff like that. So for me, it was just getting the extra work in any way that I could, not necessarily being strategic with it. It was just making sure I'm putting in, like, how they say you put in those extra 10,000 hours, then you're going to be successful from there. So for me, it was just, I didn't realize it at that point, but it was all about getting those 10,000 hours of extra work and seeing how that would help me out when it was time to, for the lights to come on and everything. So
Yeah. You got to
definitely at
master
that
the
time, it was
craft.
building my work ethic. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Master the craft and get out and put in the extra time is what's going to lead you to those big jumps in your performance. And it's awesome to, kind of see, you were basically all the time, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was just, it was like nonstop for you, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So going in, Iowa State, you said that was your first offer?
Yeah.
Awesome. So was it like you got that and you knew, or was it you kind of fielded everything else? Like walk us through a little bit on that side of things.
Um, it was weird because like a lot of schools started hitting me up on Twitter and stuff randomly, and they were showing a lot of interest, but it wasn't necessarily like they. I didn't. I was thinking they wanted to offer me. I thought it was more so they were just talking to me, getting to know me, and then Iowa State, like all the coaches and stuff there were hitting me up all the time. Also recruiting my family and everything too. So I felt pretty good about that. And then I remember one of my coaches kind of ruined it for me because the night they called me, they were going to offer me. My coach texted me like 5 minutes before they called me. He said congratulations, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And then they called me and offered me. So he kind of spoiled it a little bit. It was a great experience though. But for me, it was very eye opening for me because it was schools like KU and the K States where they always had me on their radar, but they wouldn't offer me. So I was kind of like, okay, like I'm a hometown kid. Like obviously I'm one of the best players in the state. Like, and I've proven it. So like what's going on? But they wouldn't pull the trigger. So once Iowa State offered me first, and then KU and K State came after that, I was like, okay, I don't want to go there. Like I told them respectfully, like they thought I looked at them as a school just down the street, and at that point in time, like I'm like, okay, y'all were playing with me, so yeah, I do at this point. Like for y'all to want to get me interested, y'all are gonna have to show a different level of you guys wanting me, and it just was never what I wanted it to be. So that was one of my things. Like once I once I really picked to commit to Iowa State after having all the offers and stuff, one of my big things was like I'm gonna kill KU and K State every time I come back home. Kill them every time, bro. Like that was my biggest thing. And every time we played KU and K State, I would have crazy big games. So like that was like always felt super good because then like I'd come home or like we'd be playing at Iowa State and all my friends from high school, all my coaches, everybody's pulling up. My last year we played at KU. I had to get 60 tickets for all my friends and family. So like that stuff really
Dang.
like hit home for me. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be a pretty awesome experience there.
Well, you got that chip on your shoulder,
So-
Yeah.
Go after him.
So
Yeah.
real quick, your dad played at OU. Was there
Mhm.
any offers from OU for you, or was that more of like I'm gonna chart my own path?
They showed interest. And at the time, Marcus Hicks had an offer from OU, and he was also committed. So, I'd go up there with him and his dad on recruiting visits, and they liked me. Their coaches would come to the games and watch us. And I remember the first game that OU came to, we were playing Capon, and I had like 265 touchdowns, but they wouldn't offer me. Show a lot of interest, call me all the time, talk to me, but they wouldn't offer me. So they ended up telling me that they were taking another running back over me. And so I never got that offer. And that was another thing. Like, okay, now every time I play OU, I want to kill him.
You're like,
it's
you're like,
going.
put him on the board.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
Put him on the
like
board.
motivation.
Yeah. So there was a little bit of interest there, but it was never an offer. So that one, and I dreamed of playing for Lincoln Riley. Like me and him were always really cool, even throughout college, even now, like we're really cool. So me and him have always had a good relationship, and I feel like he says that like I was one of the ones they missed out on because he knows how much I wanted to go there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Just so you know, my whole I grew up near Ames, so
Mhm.
my whole family's Iowa State fans. So
Yeah.
I know they're gonna love this, and I grew up going to like Iowa State games. We had season tickets. We didn't have them when you were playing, but you were part of a massive change in that program.
Yeah.
Kind of shifting it because when I was growing up watching them, they were lucky to get to 5 or 6 wins.
Yeah, right.
They had
Yeah.
a few. They had a few seasons where they kind of got there, and then you came in. Was you were right alongside Montgomery, right, when you got there?
No, so when he had declared for the draft, and that was going to be my incoming freshman year
Okay,
because I
okay.
graduated high school a semester early, and the reason why I graduated early is because he declared, so I knew I could come in and compete for the spot. So he was always like my mentor, big brother. Like he would always check on me and everything and make sure I was good. And then he would tell me he was sick that I broke all his rushing records and stuff once I got a little older in college. So yeah, that's been my guy for a long time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember that. I mean, you had an absolute horse in Montgomery get through there, and then you came in,
Yeah.
and no offense to Dave Montgomery, but then we're even better than him. But
Yeah.
you obviously being part of a massive change and massive culture change in a program like that, where you kind of took them to help take them to new heights. Kind of, if you wouldn't mind, describe what that was like being there. and kind of the culture there and the excitement around the program as you guys continue to elevate each year?
Yeah, it was a lot different from what I expected, bro. Like I didn't really know what a real culture was until I got to Iowa State. And, throughout the recruiting process, I got a huge vision of it and I felt it because going there, they're not the biggest school. They don't got all the glitz and glamour. But when you go on the campus and, you see how much of a family oriented vibe it is and how Midwest people are really kind and positive. Like they were always really nice. And like I said, the coaches took time to recruit me and my family. So they were calling my mom, calling my stepdad, asking me about how my sister was doing and stuff like that. So that really played a big factor in me choosing Iowa State. And then, gaining a relationship with Coach Campbell is like family, not just him, but his family as well. Like he has 2 daughters, 2 sons, and like, for me, it was like really cool to see like, okay, he actually wants me to be around them and have a relationship with them. So getting up there, bro, it was like, he explained to us like we don't have the most talent, we don't have the most talented guys. Like we're a development program, so we have to, work this much harder and be this much more in our details and sacrifice this much more because that's going to be our edge. Is us having that grit and grime and never, that never wavering of we're never going to quit, we're never going to give up, we're always going to play every snap. So that was the difference between us and other schools, whether it was a win or a loss. Was like, it's gonna our culture is going to be the reason we win, not because of our talent.
So,
Yeah.
so
Go ahead.
Brees, I don't know if you can see the backside of my chair. I have to ask this. I'm a Niners fan, and I know you played
Yeah.
3 seasons with Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
How was that? Because Sheldon doesn't like Brock Purdy.
That's also not true.
He's
So
avid
Sheldon's a
hater,
Packers
Brock
fan.
Purdy.
yeah, so not in college, but when I got out of college, Brock gave me a really different insight on life because at a young age, Brock was really big into his faith in the Lord, and he comes from that in his family. He's a big Christian and everything. And at that point in my life in college, I wasn't, that I wasn't really on that path. And I always appreciated Brock because after my freshman year, I moved in with him. But I came into college like all worried about like girls and Instagram followers and this, that, and the third. And Brock, and he took me under his wing. I was his young bull, so he was kind of just like, bro, it's not all about that, bro. Like it's a reason you got here, and never forget that. And just be thankful that we're being able to be in the position we are and being able to go out here and have fun and play the game we love. We're playing the child's game for a King's ransom. So um, just being around him and seeing the way he went about life and his perspective on life and just about everything, bro. It was really cool because, like I said, Brock's a one-on-one person. He's like the closest thing almost to a perfect human. So when I lived with him and after we got out of college, bro, like he hit the things he would say and how he maneuvered would always stick with me because I'm like, okay, like no matter what point that Brock's gotten he's been a person throughout the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, and he was the ultimate guy in college to have having highs of highs and lows of lows. So like that helped me out. And then also Coach Campbell, always preaching to us like he's like, you guys are gonna go to the NFL, you guys are gonna make a lot of money. He would always tell us like one thing you guys always want to do is just always be on point. Make sure you're always on your P's and Q's. Make sure you're knowing where you are, who's around you, who you're surrounding yourself with. So like those little lessons like that as a young 17, 18-year-old, I would like listen to it and I felt like it was going in one ear and out the other. And now I look at it and circle back to that. Like that stuff stuck with me throughout my whole time in college because I was always younger than everybody. I was one of the only freshmen that was playing when I was at Iowa State. And, I went from being that young guy who just had to show up every day and make sure I was doing my job to being looked at as a guy like Brock who, they're looking at you to be the leader of a program, the face of a school, and, do everything the right way in order to, lead this group of men to, go be able to show up on Saturdays.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
First of all, I do not dislike Brock Purdy.
I
These
don't
guys,
know. That's
these
kinda what
guys
you
want
say
to
all the
they want to
time.
hang it on me. All I have ever said is that he's not top 15 in the NFL right now at quarterback. When we're
He's top
talking
5.
statistically,
Yeah.
He's top
See,
5.
He's tough.
Hey,
Wow.
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
you guys are wild. Sounds like he's a great actual person, which I did
He is.
believe in the first place. Anyway, like
I don't know,
he
Sheldon.
seems that way
So
in general.
I do want to ask, what was your favorite game in college to play, and how's the experience at home?
My favorite game in college to play. Trying to think. What's crazy? I think my favorite games were from COVID year. which is insane to think about. Like, I'm trying to think. And COVID year was like, I think we were like 10-2 or 10-3, but it was obviously you couldn't have a packed out stadium, but like somehow we were still having fans there and our families were able to come to the game, so it would still be really lit. But I just think that atmosphere, just us having to be there for each other, we had to be our own energy. So like, just seeing how close and how supportive our team was, I'd say probably the Big 12 championship was really fun, even though we lost. That game was crazy. Going back and forth with all those guys. I remember my true freshman year, we played Oklahoma at night. I don't remember if it was college game day or not, but it was when they had CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Hurts, Kenneth Murray, like all these high round players, high end players, top players in college football. And I'm a young 17-year-old true freshman out there, and I'm balling too. Like, and I remember they started out the game, they were beating us like 28-3 before at halftime, and we came back. I think Brock threw for like 500 yards or something like that. It was insane, and
Dang.
I remember
Second
it
half?
was like, yeah, it was like a movie, bro. Like I remember we were down a touchdown and we got an empty, and our Brock called it. He called it was gonna be a touchdown. We ran all verticals, and I remember just watching the ball in the air and watching our tight end Charlie Kolar catch it. So we're down 49-50. And Coach Campbell's like, "Fuck it, we're going for the win." And I remember, yeah, like we got to get out of we
Shout
got
out
we trying to
Coach
get out of here,
Campbell.
bro. And I remember us running the play, and I remember Brock threw like a crazy ball, like a dot, and our receiver caught it, and the DB somehow came and ripped it out of the receiver's hand
Oh,
for a
yeah.
pick, and like it was the craziest thing to see. But like I'd say that game was insane, and then my last year my last game I played was against TCU, and I knew it was my last game. Nobody else knew, but I remember everybody was asking me. Like I got off the bus for our spirit walk, like I was like crying, and then nobody knew it was gonna be my last game. So I was like, I gotta put on the show today, and I ended up having I went for 366 and 5 touchdowns, and that was like the great walk off for me because nobody knew it was gonna be my last game. Yeah.
How many 5 touchdown games do you have? Do you know that?
I don't know how many 5
I feel
touchdown
like
games. I have
every
a lot
time
of,
we're like,
Yeah.
350, 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
This 5 touchdowns.
but in college I had a lot of 2 and 3 touchdown games, and I have the
Yeah.
record for the most consecutive games with the touchdown. So I'm hoping that record doesn't get touched for a long
Stays,
while
yeah.
because that was a cool one to get.
That's awesome, dude. So going in, so let's just kind of keep going because we'll have a bunch of questions as we keep on. But so like you're coming out of Iowa State, you're getting drafted. When did you know did you know first year walking into college, like, okay, like I'm on track, like obviously you never know 100%, but like
Mhm.
you're like very, very confident coming in your freshman year that you're going to go to the NFL. Like you have a good idea anyway, right? When did you like know that for sure? And then what started to kind of change a little bit in your mindset and approach, like getting ready for that next big jump?
Yeah. So like I said, when I tell y'all, like as a sophomore, my friends are joking with me, like telling me I'm gonna go to the NFL, and I'm not thinking anything of it. So then I get in as a true freshman, and I'm like, as a freshman, I'm like, damn, like this ain't as hard as I thought it was gonna be. I was kind of a little bit better than most people.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember my sophomore year, it was like after the it was like even like preseason, I was like seeing like crazy like mock drafts from and for the next 2 years and stuff. I would be seeing early stuff like that, and then I remember after my sophomore year, we won the Fiesta Bowl and we beat Oregon. And Coach Campbell, like everybody's celebrating, and I'm sitting down in my locker, and Coach Campbell comes up to me and he was like, with the most serious face, like he's like, Brees, you only got 6 months left. It's like you got to get ready to go to the NFL. And I was kind of like, that's when it hit me. I was like, damn, like college just went by so fast, like that. It was insane. So then going into the season, I had to deal with like agents hitting me up and everything, and I would just direct it all to my mom. So she did a great job of handling that whole part of it. But I felt like it went by really fast because, like I said, I went from being the guy that just had to, the young freshman that just had to show up and do my part, to being like, damn, now I'm the face of this whole thing. Like even more, if not just as much, if not more than Brock, it's like, okay, now I really gotta, like I said, learn how to be on point, learn how to be responsible, and a lot more mature about how I'm handling things and going about things. And so that was a big point for me where I was like, okay, I kind of gotta start getting away from these childish things and having to grow up a little bit.
Yeah, that's awesome because obviously just having the responsibility of the program on your shoulders, you know what I mean? In some aspects, like being able to elevate yourself, go through that. Shout out to Brock for helping you out with that. I'm gonna give
Yeah.
Brock a shout out so these two dudes get off my back.
We're gonna
But-
clip that, okay?
Yeah,
We're gonna
yeah.
clip that and
These
just
are hating
put it
on
on
me.
We gotta
repeat,
clip it
like
when he
one-
said he was
Yeah.
top 5. Man.
yeah.
which is awesome. But so we're going into, so now let's roll into draft night, right? Let's talk about that a little bit. Where were you at? What were you doing? What was going on with that, and how did that kind of make you feel as you got drafted?
Yeah, so going into the draft, I was like a top 15 player on everybody's draft board, bro. So I didn't think, and my agent had told me beforehand, like, you might fall into the second round, but I'm like, there's no way. Like, so I just remember I'm thinking I'm gonna go within like the first like 15 to 20 picks, and we were in Vegas because I think that draft year was Vegas, and the NFL gave us a complimentary like resort stay. I had a whole NFL Films crew with me, and my family was there, friends were there, and everything. And I remember it just felt like forever, bro. Like I'm sitting there, my phone's on the table, going through every pick, and I'm seeing, okay, Sauce gets taken at 3 or whatever by the Jets, and then Garrett gets taken at 10 or 11 by the Jets, and okay, I remember, okay, it was getting to like that 12 to like 20 range, and I'm sitting there like sweating now, okay, like, this is what I've been waiting for. And then I remember it got to like pick like 22, 23, and I was like, okay, none of these other teams need a running back, but I'm still like hoping that I get that first round call. That's what you dream for. And I remember after the last pick of the first round went by, um, I was like crushed, bro. I was sick about it. And I remember all my family, I gave everybody a hug, and I went to my room by myself, and my agent came in, and she was asking me if I was okay. And a lot of the other guys that was in my agency from that draft class, like they were the ones that went first round, they were going out and they were hitting me up to come and everything. And I was kind of like, nah, I'm good, bro. I'm gonna sit back and chill. And I remember once everybody left my hotel room, like I was bawling, crying, like sobbing in my room, bro. And um, I remember that next day, I didn't want to get dressed. I didn't really want to do anything. Like I was just like, whatever. So then the second round came, and I remember just seeing, like, I thought I was gonna get picked up by the Bills or the Texans, and I remember the Jets had traded ahead of both of those teams, and I got the call from a New Jersey area code, and I was like, okay, this is crazy. But it was one of those things, like I couldn't fully enjoy it because I felt like it took forever. Like I was like, damn, it's about time. But
Right.
and then I remember the NFL, like, no, I think they contacted my agent and it was like, no, we think Brees deserves like his stage moment. So they sent me a car, and I had to get from my resort to where they were hosting the draft at, and then they re-announced my pick and let me go on the stage. It was the craziest thing ever. Like I was like, wow, this is insane. And so that was a real cool experience. And I remember like seeing our draft class, and Sauce and Garrett are FaceTiming me, and I was like, dog, like this is insane. Like, and I trained at the same facility as Sauce throughout the draft prep and everything. So me and him were already really tight. So that whole experience was just crazy.
Yeah, that draft class is wild,
Yeah,
actually, when you
absolutely.
think about it.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Do you have a question there, Naj?
I did,
Oh,
but now I have another question.
okay.
What's like the day-to-day life of like the pro athlete? Like, what are meals like? Do you cook your own meals? Does somebody do that for you? Like, what is like day-to-day pro life? What is that like?
You want in season or off season?
In
Yes.
season.
Yes, both.
Yeah.
Okay,
both.
so in season, it depends on really what point you're at. Like in season, the beginning of the season, your first meeting is gonna be at 8, so you're probably up by 5:30, 6. Head to the facility and get there early, get some treatment, might stretch out, get breakfast or whatever. First meeting's at 8, whether it's the team meeting or special teams meeting or whatever. Get done with that about 8:15, and then you go into your special teams or offense defense meeting. And that'll be like an hour and a half, hour and a half. And then you go into your individual meeting, and that'll be another 45 minutes. Then you got pre-practice walkthrough, which is like another like 30 to 45 minutes, and then you got your lunch, pre-practice routine, which I should be a lot better. But during our pre-practice, I like to goof around and joke around all the time. I don't really, have too much of a pre-practice routine until we get in our stretch lines. So then you go practice for about 2.5 hours. Get done with practice. You got a 45-minute lift, and then you got special teams meeting, which that'll be, and at that point it'll be like probably like 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then from special teams meeting, you have your offense defense meetings, which would be like another 45 minutes, and then you have your after your offense defense meeting, you go to your individual position meeting, and that'll be another 30 45 minutes. So you're getting out around like it's really essentially a 12-hour day. You're up there at 5:36, and you're not leaving till 5:30 to 6:30. So it's a long grind, bro. And some
Mhm.
people don't realize that like you're putting that much time into it because you go from having to have that mental test. You have to remember all this information in one day and then apply that on the field after only being able to study it for 30 minutes to an hour. And then you have to worry about like, okay, I have to worry about my pre-practice, my lift, and then going to more meetings after practice. It's a really long grind, so that's definitely tough. And then outside of that, you got to worry about like your diet, and if you have a family, you have to go home and tend to your family life. Like it's a lot of stuff to really think about. That's why you got to appreciate all like the moms and wives and girlfriends out there who are able to also help you out with that too.
For
Hundred
sure.
percent. The absolute grind. Day to
Okay,
day.
well, the big back in me wants to know when you say breakfast, what do they provide you for breakfast? It's a serious question. A lot of people want to know. It
He
could be a
said that
granola bar.
he said the
Yeah.
big back.
Yeah.
At the facility, it's pretty much anything you want. You get pancakes, you can get waffles, you can get whatever omelets you want. You could get a wrap. You could get they got yogurts with all the condiments, bagels, everything you want. For me, I'm like usually 2 or 3 eggs with spinach and like an everything bagel with some cream cheese. Like that's my usual breakfast. But and then you got lunch. They pretty much have everything you want. Dinner depends, like during the season. Sometimes if you win, dinner's a little better than what it would be normally if you're, so it
They're like,
definitely
oh man, all
depends.
right, we'll roll out that cart for him
I,
this
I guess.
time.
Yeah, like
I guess.
if you win, you might come in one week and then you having lobster, filet
Uh
mignon
huh.
steaks, like all the good stuff. And if you lose, it might be just like, oh, you're getting a little burger, a sloppy Joe, or
Here's your
something chill. Like,
PB and J.
Oh, I guess that
yeah,
rule never changes. That rule
Yeah,
never
yeah,
changes.
that's kind of coaches don't change too much, bro. They're
You
at
they're they're
you
all.
laying
win,
it
you
down
eat
on
good.
you.
So in the off season, how does the diet affect all the fun things that you do when you're goofing off and enjoying life?
Yeah, so for me right now, like I also in the off season I work out earlier than I do in season, so I don't really eat breakfast. It's more just lunch dinner for me. But right now I'm doing an 18-hour fast every day. So I work out at about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and get done about like 10, 11, and I eat my lunch right around like 11:30 to 12, and then I try. Then depending on how my day goes, I don't eat anything for the rest of the day, just fasting my body, and you know I feel like I do that for like a week or two just to see how much of a like how much obviously it helps you lose weight, but your body kind of gets rid of all those like cells that it's not using and gets rid of all that natural fat. It kind of starts to eat away at its own fat. So that's what I've been doing so far. But in the off season, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. You still getting your work in, but you definitely have more time to go have fun, enjoy time with your family and friends, and go out and get to do things that you can't do for half of the year. So it's definitely a good time to enjoy, especially if you're in the sun and everything for the off season.
Tell us a little bit about who you're working with right now. Me and Key were talking about you last year. I think you were in like Dallas Fort Worth area for
Yeah,
off season training. And I
yeah.
don't know that girl personally, but I know like the place there. I just follow just different places around. Obviously, always looking
Huh?
at stuff. But who are you working with this off season? And then are you working out with any other players? Are you doing stuff on your own? Like what's that kind of looking like?
Yeah, so the spot I work out is like almost in Boca. I'm in Florida, so it's called the System 8, and the head trainer there, his name's Adam Boyley. He's been in the game for a really long time, and I'm at the facility. I work out with Jonathan Taylor, and Frank Gore also goes there. So we be in there getting it in every day, competing, having fun. So you know, and it's been cool to see Frank's work ethic because he still works out like he's playing in the NFL. So
I was
I
gonna
feel
say, so
like
are
for
you talking
me,
the older Frank Gore?
yeah,
Isn't there
older,
Frank Gore
yeah,
Jr.?
yeah, Big Frank. We call him Big Frank. That's Big
Big
Frank.
Frank.
So
Okay.
so yeah, like seeing his work ethic, it kind of gives you perspective of like, okay, I have no reason to not be going hard and not trying to outdo him because you know he's been doing this for so long. Like why not me? Why can't I be pushing myself this hard? So it's definitely been cool to see, and they've been helping me a lot with like my hip mobility, helping me do a lot of speed work, and um, I've been learning a lot of things. So they're helping me, trying not to. I'm trying to use less of my hamstring when I'm running and use more of my calf and just getting into better positions running and everything. So it's been good to get that grasp of everything. They've been getting me some really good work, and we're out in the sun every day, so I'm losing like 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds every day and having to drink and rehydrate water. So it's been good for me for sure.
Yeah, the intensity level that you guys are doing stuff at is just it's a different
Yeah,
animal,
yeah,
and you're like, yeah, we work out from 7:30ish, 8 to 8, 11, so like the
yeah,
common athlete, common person just doesn't really understand or has
yeah,
really put themselves through like what that lifestyle's like, because that's an
yeah.
everyday thing, like you said,
Right,
you're training 5 days a week, right
right.
now, sometimes six probably, like it's wild. Like the
Yeah.
work ethic that goes into it is awesome and a lot of fun. But so with that, with the training, that is it, actually, side question is, JT, are you guys close in age?
Nah, he's I think JT like 3 or 4 years older than me. Y'all gotta
I was
understand,
gonna
bro. When I
say,
got into the league, I was 20, like not even 21 yet. So like a lot of guys
yeah,
in
it's
my draft class
crazy.
and older are a lot like older than me. So I think JT, I'm 24 now, so JT has to be like 27, 28. Like um yeah, but just seeing how he's been able to keep his body up and seeing how he works, like it's been a big help for me, bro. Because I came into the league and didn't necessarily really have a vet or have anybody to really look at like that. So, as far as a running back, so it was like, it was kind of like just like a trial and error type of thing with me. So it's been cool to be around guys like him. And I worked out with Derrick Henry last year and to see how they work every day.
Is he insane? Like the workout videos you see, is he pretty insane?
Yeah, bro. Like he lifts heavy, not super heavy, but he pretty much lifts heavy every day, full go. He runs a lot of hills, and seeing how his motor is, and how he's able to get through a workout and push himself like that. That's definitely been something I've tried to instill in me, in order to just make myself do extra reps and just keep trying to outwork everybody to better everybody to make us all compete and have fun with it too.
That's what we need to put outside here. We need a
Need a
hill.
hill.
We need a turf
We do
hill.
need a hill. A hill here would be
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
awesome.
Electric.
Yeah. But yeah, that's getting a sneak peek, kind of like it, you guys are going to compete against each other obviously in this season, but I'm sure it's pretty awesome to kind of come together, train in the off season, and do you guys kind of keep in contact during the season and stuff and encourage each other, all that?
Yeah, definitely. And we're all watching each other's film and like, you come in every week as a running back and after every Sunday, Monday, Thursday, like you're watching how that other guy played and like you want to see like, okay, like what's he doing in this situation? How is he making something out of nothing? Like, okay, what was this move he did here? Like you're trying to kind of just trying to steal stuff from everybody's game, but you're also admiring stuff from everybody's games too, because everybody plays different.
That's awesome. And then with the Jets, you've gone through, is it one coaching change or two coaching changes so far?
So I've gone through two coaching changes. This is my about to be my fifth year, my fourth offense I've learned, and my third running back coach.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I guess for that, you don't have to be obviously as detailed as you want to be. What's
Yeah.
that like? Kind of, I mean, I'm sure there's some uncertainty with position coaches, especially, but then obviously a head coach and everything, OC every single year, right?
Mhm.
Going into the off season. So kind of how do you guys deal with that as players and these relationships you have with these coaches can kind of be taken away in an instant?
Yeah. It's it's interesting. It's hard to describe, bro, because you go from like building these great relationships to boom, they're just gone and somewhere else in a matter of hours. So being with the Jets has just been a revolving door and it's been a roller coaster because the organization is we're still trying to build some stability around there. So it's been cool, and I'm glad. I'm still there. I love being in New York. I love playing for the Jets and everything, but um, I just think we're still just trying to find our guys. Like I love our head coach. I love Aaron Glenn, and I think he's going to be the one to really change things around. And I have the most faith in him. I love my running back coach, but for me, it's also been cool to see how I'm able to adapt and learn on the fly. Learning the different offense and learning all this different verbiage and seeing how differently coaches want to do stuff. It's been good for me in the way of like knowing that I can, I can be plugged and play in anywhere, any system, anytime, and learn on the fly. So it's definitely something for me to know that okay, I am versatile and I definitely have a different learning curve from what most people do.
Oh, I think that's going to help value in the future 100%. Like you're going to be
Yeah.
like a Swiss Army knife. You know what I mean? Like doesn't matter what offense, doesn't matter the scheme, doesn't matter. You've kind of seen it all in the first 4 or 5 years, and
Yeah.
you're still competing at a level that everybody's still kind of chasing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like because you're at the top and end of the position, and so you're balling out with all the changes that are happening, which is awesome to see, and being able to work through that process. I mean, just hearing it and like seeing it, but then having to think about doing that on a day-to-day basis, I
Yeah.
mean, the computing power that it takes to just put it all together. That's the other part about football, which I wasn't a football guy, I was a baseball guy, but just football is such a complex sport. Like it's so complex, but then it's also so simple at the same time too. It's just it's wild. So hearing it from the inside out, I guess, is just kind of it's wild to think about the day to day that goes into it and just how much that takes.
Right.
Yeah, and also in college, you obviously you had a few receiving touchdowns there and some receiving yards, but it seems like in the NFL that has been maybe I don't know exactly, but as far as I can see from stats, the receiving out of the backfield has upped quite a bit as you got into the
Yeah,
NFL.
for sure. That's the thing, bro. Like, it's weird because I'm bigger. Like, I'm a bigger back in NFL terms, but people have always been impressed about like how I'm able to catch and how I can translate, my catch to yards after catch and make them explosive. I think that's one of the most like underrated parts, and that's one of the best parts of my game is my ability to, you could get me the ball in any spot and I can make it explosive. So and being with guys like Aaron Rodgers, like he always preached to me like, bro, like in the pass game, bro, the check down is like the one of the biggest things because if you can make a 2 yard pass into a 20, 30 yard gain, bro, like a defense is essentially going to go crazy because they don't really know what else to do, how to stop it. If a running back can be effective out of the backfield catching the ball, it puts that much more stress on the defense because then they have to think about so many things when defending you that it opens up everything for everybody else.
Tell me a little bit about Aaron Rodgers because I don't know if you see my chair right there, but I'm a Green Bay guy.
Yeah.
So I grew up with that guy, and obviously the turmoil of losing him from our organization and all the moving
Yeah.
parts and all of the things, and then him ending up in the Jets, and then just all of the moving parts of the Jets, just as an organization, I think is kind of wild, and it's just tough. But what was it like playing with him? Obviously one of the all-time greats and Hall of Famer for sure, like just
Yeah.
probably the best quarterback of I mean in my lifetime, no doubt. But
Yeah.
as far as actual quarterback skills, I mean what was that experience like?
Bro, it was so crazy. Like, I still remember like his first day in the facility. It was like a movie shoot or something, like a video shoot or something. Like everybody was around, like just watching him walk through the facility. It was like I don't even. It was like watching like LeBron or Steph Curry like walk through
Uh-huh.
walk through the pregame tunnel or something. It was like insane. And then the way he reached out to me and befriended me. We were locker mates, so just being able to talk to him every day and um, about my rehab and everything. He was just really cool dude, and he gets a bad rep from like the outside, the media and everything. But like getting to know him and learning why he is the way he is, why he goes about stuff the way he does. Like I was like, okay, this is a cool cat. Like, and I'm a big observant. Like I want to see. I don't judge people like from afar. I like to be around them and see like how they are before I have my final opinion on them. And I was like, nah, he's a good dude, and I wish we would have been better for him because that dude could still throw the ball with the best of them, and he proved it this season. So,
Yeah.
um, that's a
That
relationship I'll
I think
appreciate
everybody's
for
hearts
forever.
hearts dropped when that dude's Achilles ripped.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
insane.
First
dude.
game.
Yeah.
First, I was just
first
like,
drive, right?
yeah, it
and
was
bro,
the
like
first like 3 plays.
the whole lead up to that season, like our training camp practices, when I tell you they were games, bro, like we would our every practice was sold out. Like there wasn't enough seats for everybody to sit. That sometimes not even for friends and family. Like it was insane. And then I remember that first game, bro. Like the whole like everything behind it was crazy. It was my first game back off my ACL. It was Garrett Wilson was coming off his rookie of the year, and it was Aaron's first game as a Jet. So I remember like when they're introducing us, like they turn all the lights out in the stadium and put the spotlight on Aaron, bro. And it was like I've
place
never
was
heard a stadium be that loud before in my life. Like that shit was insane. And then I remember the first play of the game, like I felt like they were like testing me out. They gave me a run just to see like how what I was gonna do, and I get a 30-yard run, and then the next two plays I was out, and I remember that third play when Aaron got hurt. I remember as I'm running in, he's still standing, but he's looking up at the sky like I can't believe this happened. So I'm like, H, you good? You good? And he looks at me and shakes his head like nah. And so I'm like, what? I'm like, what? And so then he kind of just leans back on the ground, falls on the ground, and his foot's just like dangling like this. And I was like,
Oh,
Ah,
Jesus Christ. And
Nope.
I remember our trainers going to check on him, and he whispers into our head trainers, he's like, I think I just tore my Achilles. And I was like, what's that? Like it's that happened that fast, like 3 plays in the game, bro. Like
yeah.
it was crazy. And even though we won that game, like it was cool to get the win, but you
Yeah, because
knew
that was
like
like a walk-off win, wasn't it? Like it was
yeah,
like the last play of the game. Yeah, I remember.
yeah, and it was just like, damn, bro. Like, not that we thought the season was over, but it was definitely like, okay, like, the morale was definitely down a little bit. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, bro, he got hurt already, dog. It was crazy.
Well, immediate distractions, like it's immediately like you pop a bubble and all the water's coming out, like it's just
Exactly.
that's a big hill to climb that early in
Yeah.
the season and then be able to go through it. Like it's just there's a lot of pieces that play into that, which is
I think
tough.
that leads into a good question though. I mean, the public's perception of everything around a football team or an organization or certain players
Yeah.
is always most likely different from what's really going on. You have the talking heads who got to have their talking points, so they're going to
Right.
bloviate about this guy and his attitude and this and this and this. How do you, as a prominent NFL player, do you deal a lot with social media? Do you and the public and the perception there? Like, how do you guys day to day deal with all the outside noise?
Yeah, bro. I'm definitely very active on social media. So, when things are going good, when things are going bad, you hear it, you feel it, you see it. And so like it's crazy because with the New York fans, it's like a love hate relationship with me because like I'm definitely like I'll throw certain things on social media and they don't know what I mean, and so they take it a certain way or whatever. And I'm it's crazy being in New York because no matter what the Jets or Giants do, win or loss, we're the first team that's going to be talked about on ESPN. They're on every social media outlet every week. So, whether it's the good, the bad, the best or the worst, like it's going to be talked about, first thing Monday morning. So it's essentially just one of
Here
those
we
things.
go.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
So leading up into this year, you were like it sounded like people were reaching out asking about trades,
yeah.
stuff like that. Like how hard were you watching that? And I don't know if you can say this or not, but which team would you rather have gone to if it was an opportunity?
Man, don't. be
Yes, I
kidding
want to
me.
do that
This
because dude, it could have been a homecoming.
No,
Honestly,
you
bro,
don't
like,
answer that question. Come on.
honestly, so when all the trade stuff started happening, bro, it was like it was the year that his last year with the Jets. And honestly, bro, none of us, like, we were all off sync. Like, none of us were really playing our best, bro. Like, it would be games where I would have a good game, but Aaron and Garrett were off, or it'd be a game where Aaron was having a good game and I was off, like little stuff like that. Like, we were all never like really playing as one, playing in sync. So, um, and when a team's not doing good, the best players are going to be the ones that they're pointing at. So it was falling on me and Aaron, so like pointing at us about it. So it was like, okay, that's fair. And then going into this season, we got a new coach and everything, and I started hearing the trade stuff, and for a while, the coaches weren't really saying anything to deflect that stuff. So I was like, okay, like I got to show y'all, like I really still am that dude. Like y'all, like obviously, I came off a year where I didn't, produce as much as I wanted to, but I'm like, don't forget, bro. Like I'm still putting up 1,400 all-purpose yards every year, and that's top 5 in the league. So like, don't, and so I just came in quiet, worked every day, and showed them like, y'all definitely want to keep me around here, else I'm gonna come back, and it's not gonna be pretty. So,
Hey, I do not want to
mid,
be on Brees Hall's
No,
wall.
I
No,
don't
I
want-
don't want to
no.
be on
On the
his wall to
bulletin
play
board.
yeah. So
against.
midway
Not a
midway
shot.
through the season, bro, like everything wasn't going well, but like I'm like, bro, I've had some really good games. Like I had a few 100-yard games. Like I'm playing really good. Like and we were having quarterback, crop problems and, problems with the offense and stuff. So, I remember it was going to the bye week and, that's when the trade talks were getting even heavier. And I remember like, we were playing the Bengals and, I ended up going crazy, threw the touchdown, had 2 rushing touchdowns, had a really good game. And I remember walking in to the locker room after the game, and I yelled in the locker room. I was like, I'm hype. I'm like, trade that shit, and for everybody to hear, I'm like, fuck it,
Yeah.
dude. Like, and it was insane. But with the whole trade situation, bro, I was like, honestly, if I get put in a situation where it's organizationally stable and we have a quarterback, like everybody in the league knows what I'll do. Like I put up high end rushing yards and all purpose yards. Like everybody knows how much of a threat I am when I have the ball in my hands. So, and I got so much respect for from other teams that like, we're playing the Patriots and they're stacking 9 in the box. I go against the most stacked boxes in the league. Like, so it's one of those things where like I definitely had the mutual respect, and then to see how many teams were reaching out to my agent about me is like, okay, I know if anything happens, I'm gonna be in a good spot. But I think I don't know what made the Jets want to keep me or what made them want to keep me around, but it somehow happened when I really didn't think. I thought I was gone. Like I didn't think I was gonna stick around, and then going into this offseason with the whole contract situation and the franchise tag situation, like they thought I wasn't gonna be my market was gonna be what other teams were pretty much saying it was, and so I remember like having contract talks, and I was like, I'm sticking. I want this number, and I'm sticking to this number, and the whole franchise tag thing happened. And I'm like, okay, like that's cool, fine, whatever. Like if y'all don't think I'm worth that amount of money, I just got to go prove it again, and so that's my whole mentality again this season is just okay, I got to go prove it again to y'all.
How much on the contract side of things, like obviously we know that you have a say in it, obviously, but like do you is that different on a per agent like basis? Do you know guys that, because we hear from the outside kind of looking in, you got some guys out there that are like they negotiate their own deals. You know what I mean? They go in, they're start to finish, they do the whole thing. Some guys they'll, that we get the politically correct response where it's like, no, I don't do that. That's just the business. Like they handle all of that. Like, where do you kind of fall in that spectrum? Like, you're a young dude, obviously, and obviously you've been making decisions and doing a lot of stuff. And so, what's kind of your involvement in that process?
Yeah, so just my agent, I'm with Nicole Lynn in Clutch Sports, and going through the contract situation, she kept me updated on like, there's different tags they could put on you. That obviously could trade you. They could sign you to a contract. Like I'm leveraging this for you. Da 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 da. So for me, it was a base standpoint of like, okay, Brees, do we think this is gonna be your market? If this guy gets paid this much, I think you're this X amount of money worth more. This, that, and the third. So my agent has me and Bijan Robinson, so she knows her running backs, bro. Like she knows what's up. So for me, it was like, okay, just obviously Bijan and Jameer are in another tier. So like, they had really big seasons this past season. They're probably gonna get a bigger contract or whatever. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like I can't be mad at that. They did their thing. So for me, it was like about, I think I'm worth this amount of money. And I'm like, y'all didn't trade me for a reason because y'all know if I get in a good team, in a good situation, like y'all are going to look crazy for letting me go. So, we were in negotiations heavy, and she was keeping me updated every day, every 2 days, always keeping me in the loop. And I remember when it got down to the time of like, okay, they only have this amount of time to decide if they're going to franchise tag you or extend you. She's calling me every 2 3 hours and let me know what's up. So like, as a player, like you're very, very much involved on what's going on, especially if you have that good of a relationship with your agent. So I'd say I was definitely heavily involved with the whole thing.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I think it's cool
Yeah.
that you get the chance to do that,
Yeah.
and kind of be able to have your own voice in that process. And, because you're doing the work, you know what I mean? Like you're the one that's out there, not only, doing the work in the off season and all that stuff, but like you're producing, you're producing at a level that most people in the league don't do. So, it's kind of cool to be able to see that and kind of see behind the curtain there a little bit, just to
Yep.
see how that process works. That's big stuff. Like there's obviously big numbers being thrown around and like, a lot of moving parts on how they make those. And also I always think it's just wild how fast it happens,
Yeah.
because from the internal side of it, they're talking about it all the time, like day in and day
Right.
out. Like it's always something that's going on. And then like on the outside, it's just like, oh, ding, ding, ding. All right, the
Yeah.
answer's in. What are we doing? It's just
Yeah.
wild.
So I have one more question, and this is just more like just because I'm a fan. What player don't you want to meet in the middle? Like you're downhill. Who don't you want to see?
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I got hit by Derwin James when I didn't see him one time, and that was
Ooh.
like it looked worse than what it was, but it definitely wasn't like definitely still was one of them like crazy hits. It was that one. I'm trying to think. Who in the hole do I not want to? I'm trying to think of linebackers who are really thumpers. There's not, as far as linebackers, like there's not too many real like crazy thumpers anymore. They're more just like really agile guys who just make plays. Like I wouldn't say there's a linebacker I'm looking at that I'm like, okay, I don't want to get hit by him. It's more so like, okay, this is my matchup. If I get him in the hole, I got to figure out how to make him miss. But it's never like oh, I'm gonna, I'm gonna stay clear of him. It's more so like sometimes I feel like I'm less worried about them when I have the ball and more worried about them when it's like coming to them blitzing and stuff like that. Because when a linebacker's blitzing, he gets a running head start at you, and you have to kind of step up and just take it to a certain point. So it's like, okay, I guess I'm more worried about guys like a Fred Warner, a Bobby Wagner, like guys that do stuff like that because like they got everything. They can run through you or they can hit you with a move, and you're out there looking crazy. And now, everybody's like, damn, like like you're the reason the quarterback got sacked.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
what he was looking for. He was hoping you'd say Fred Warner.
I was totally hoping you
Yeah.
would say Fred Warner.
Yeah, for sure.
What about Micah Parsons? Have you ever had to look on the other side of the field at him?
Yeah, I played him my second year, and like it's different with him, bro, because he's the type of player like he's gonna get home eventually. So it's just something you just deal with it. Like it's like he's so explosive and fast off the ball. It's like he's gonna get us one time. Like you can't deny that. Like he's gonna get us one time. Let's just get him more than he gets us. Essentially, that's essentially what. Or like a Myles Garrett. Like you're not gonna keep Myles Garrett from pressuring the quarterback or from getting the TFL or whatever. But it's just like let's you're not stopping him. Let's just contain him.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Those dudes are unreal, dude. Like just
Yeah.
freak athletes, man.
Yeah.
They're so fast
Being
off
that
the
big.
ball, and they're that big. Yeah. All right. So let's kind of off topic, but on topic, I suppose. Like, give us like a time that you're playing a game, because we always hear these segments and these little shorts and stuff. Sometimes, like, give me a time that you were playing a game and somebody said something just like off the wall, like you just said something crazy, whether it was to you or maybe to a lineman or something. And I'll preface, this year, Myles Garrett, we were just talking about him, but our left tackle completely missed a block and turned and looked at Jordan Love and said, "Run, Jordan!" And Jordan fucking takes off the other direction.
I saw that one on
Dude, I
Twitter.
was
remember
dying
that.
laughing. And then Miles got he's on the bench and he's over there just cracking it up with the dudes. And I'm like, dude, we are embarrassing. Like, what is going on? Do you have anything like that that's ever been said?
So it wasn't during the game. I think it was during training camp, and I got two stories actually. It was
All right.
one time during training camp. Justin had called a play, but like we were mid like joking in the huddle because it was like a super hard day at practice, and we were just all talking like, "Bro, we're tired as fuck right now. Like this is insane." And so we're joking in the huddle, and the quarterbacks at practice they wear GoPros on their helmets so you can see so the coaches can see where their eyes are going and everything. And so you can hear on the GoPro like we were laughing so hard, and Justin saying his cadence, and I like forgot the play because I was laughing so hard. So like mid, like Justin's in his cadence, and he says go, and I'm like, "What's the play? What's the play?" And I just stood there. I had no idea what the play was, and like I usually don't make a lot of mistakes, so like the coaches were sitting there like dying laughing off of it. Like I was like, "Yeah, bro," I had a complete brain fart because we were laughing so
That's
hard. And then, another time we were going against the defense one day, and we were killing them. We were doing 7-on-7, or no, we were doing a team period, and we were in empty, and I had like a little like choice route against a running or against a linebacker, and so the D line was talking to Justin, like, "Oh, he just wants to run the ball," da, 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 just messing around with them, and he was like, he said something like, "Oh, what did he do?" He was like, "Shut up, bitch, green 80, green 80," said Hunt, and like he says that like and but bro, it was just so funny, dude. And like we ended up that play too, we ended up completing like a 4th and 5 or something like that. So like we hear it, we're playing in the offensive room on the in the meeting on the screen, and like you hear him say it and everybody's like dying laughing for like we stuff like that happens so much, bro. It's so funny. Like it happens all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
I when you think of it too, like obviously they're NFL players are like some of the best athletes in the world. It's so serious all the time. But like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like you guys are playing a game and you're
Yeah.
big kids getting to play a game that you love. And, you know, in sports, like obviously we lose sight of that because there's a lot of dollars involved and life changing money and, you know, all that
Right.
type of stuff. So it is a business. Like there is that aspect, but it's always fun to just kind of think it through and just, you know, like you guys are getting to play a game that you love. You've grown up with
Yeah.
it your entire life. You get to go out there and just enjoy that portion. It's a lot of work. Like, don't, you know, it's not like it's not a job still, but
Right.
it's just those dudes, if you don't find ways to enjoy the game and enjoy, you know, the practices, the long hours, the sweat, and, you know, all of the things that go into it, like, it's going to be a long haul. But,
Exactly.
well, dude,
Exactly.
you guys got any other major? First and foremost, we appreciate your time, brother. Like, this has
No
been,
problem, bro. No problem.
been a long time. So I don't want to take too much, but I really do
No, you're
appreciate you
good. You're
getting
good.
on.
You're good.
I appreciate it a lot, and shout out to Key for getting us connected.
Yeah,
For sure.
I did
For
I
sure.
did want to leave on this, and I didn't know if this was something we could talk about on here or not. But you and I were
Mhm.
texting about a thing that you got going on this summer. Is that something that we
Yeah.
could talk about a little bit on the pod to kind of close it out?
Yeah, so I've been in the works with I have my team speaking with like Coach Martin right now, and I'm trying to come up with a date to do like a free camp at Northwest like this summer, and we're still like I said, everything's still in the works, but I'm planning on, I haven't been able to do nothing like super big for the city yet, and that's one thing I've been wanting to do is come back and have a camp and have all my former teammates and friends and people, mentors from around the community, have everybody come and come out, have a great day, and just enjoy themselves for one day at the school, and have watch kids run around, have some fun, and toss the ball around. So we're still working on it. We're trying to get a date set right now, and then start working on sponsors and little stuff like that. So it's definitely something that that's up and coming.
It's awesome, man. Well, hopefully anybody in Wichita, we're gonna make something happen there because I think that would be awesome. We want to be
Yeah.
involved. We want to do some cool stuff for that. I think that would be massive. I think that you'd have a ton of
Mhm.
kids out there and a lot of people coming back to see you and just having some fun and being about the community. But to kind of close it out, we always kind of let our guests on here, give little bits of advice and a little bit of shout outs of anybody that you
Mhm.
would like to shout out. But, if you got a young athlete that tunes into this and sees you, right, the guy, not from Wichita, but from Wichita, that
Yeah.
that has made it, and he's doing some big things. Like what would be the advice that you would give to those up and coming players? And then, any shout outs that you want to give out there.
I always tell people, bro, like if I could go back and talk to my younger self, I would just tell myself, like, bro, run your own race. Like, don't worry about necessarily what anybody has going on or what anybody that doesn't matter to you or your life has to say. Like at the end of the day, run your own race, and no matter what you have going on in life, just make sure you keep the main thing the main thing. Growing up, my mom always told me, high standards keep you from low quality. So for me, like no matter what point in life I always got to, that's one thing I always would have in the back of my mind. High standards keep you from low quality. Whether you can use that in every part of your life, whether it comes to relationship, work, school, and just everything in life, bro. That's something I like literally live and die by. Like high standards keep you from low quality, and that's keeping me, on a straight and narrow for my whole life.
Dude, I love it. That's amazing. Amazing advice. Any shout outs? Anybody you want to holler at other than your mom, obviously? That's the bit we already heard.
Yeah,
that one.
definitely. Shout out mom. Shout out, shout out Coach Martin. Shout out to my Wichita Northwest Grizzlies. Shout out to Parisi.
Hey,
Hey,
we didn't ask him to do that.
Hey.
Uh, and then shout out to the whole city of Wichita, bro. It's definitely lots of love, and I appreciate all the fans and supporters, and people who just keep wishing me well and showing me love.
I appreciate it, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you again for hopping on for as long as you
No
did. I know
problem.
you're busy and got stuff going on. So, but keep me in the loop. Keep us in the loop on the camp.
got you.
We would love to be involved with that. And we always close out our podcast with prayer. So, Sean's
sure.
going to lead us in a short prayer. If you would like to hang out for
Okay.
that, you're more than welcome to. If you got to hop off, that's
sure.
totally fine too. So,
No, I'm good. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
I just want to start off with a verse, 1 John 5, 11 and 12. And this is the testimony: God has given us eternal life, and this life is in his Son. He who is the Son has life. He who does not have the Son of God does not have life. Lord, thank you for this this wonderful conversation. Just thank you for letting it all work out. Thank you for Brees's time, Lord. I just pray that you keep him safe. Keep him safe this off season. Keep providing for him, Lord. I just pray that he's well in his prayers, doing well, and especially staying firm in the off season amid all the distractions of the season as it gets going. Lord, I just pray you keep him safe, his training mates safe down there, keep him safe in his travels, and keep his team safe as they get it ready for the new year. Just pray for anything you can do, Lord, for him and his platform to share and glorify you as much as he possibly can, and strengthen the relationship, and just not himself, but also his teammates as well. And I just pray for ultimately any young kid watching this, looking up to a guy who's from a big/small city in the Midwest to making it big. Just give them a lot of advice from this, a lot of takeaways from this, and help them pave their own path like he has, Lord. In your glorious name I pray, Jesus. Amen.
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 Well, man, that's it for season 2, episode 2, Brees Hall. We will be back tomorrow. Thanks for joining us, and
problem.
thanks again, Brees, for hanging out with us for a little bit.
I appreciate
No problem.